want to get your views on how this company has been successful. First of all, maybe give us a sense of who is GZ Industries and what do they do?
Thanks, Wole. Thank you very much for having me. GZ Industries is a canning company. They make aluminum cans for bottlers and brewers in Nigeria and we hope West Africa as well. What's a can? Naturally, you know your can where the fluid comes into. It's a very light product, very brittle product. Prior to us coming on stream, these cans were imported across the oceans. It's a very expensive endeavor, very time-consuming for our customers. The company was set up basically, it was thought of by some Israeli entrepreneurs who lived in Nigeria. They had the business idea. They went through, got technical partners who came to help them establish the plant. They got investors as well, investors like ourselves. And we've now established this can plant to manufacture these cans locally, which is just much more beneficial for the industry supply chain.
Okay, so tell us, I mean, obviously they were able to attract you. What do you think they were able to do to attract that venture capital investment from your side?
Okay. What these guys were able to do really was, they had a brilliant plan and they're very good at articulating that plan. It was a business that made fundamental sense in Nigeria today. Before we invested in the company, we spoke to all of their customers who expressed extremely and dying need for this product. So we knew there was definitely demand. They had the right plan set up to take care of sort of, you know, thinking in terms of where the plant was located, other technical partners, making sure like all the inputs and raw materials were easily and readily available. So they basically had sort of all their ducks lined up to ensure that it would be a very attractive investment for us.
Okay, and then let's talk about manufacturers in Nigeria in general. I think the common challenges most manufacturers face are obviously the infrastructure deficit in Nigeria, weak infrastructure, weak legal system, and I think manpower has always been an issue for most manufacturers. Can you just share your perspective and how those challenges have come to bear on this project?
Okay. Thank you. I will share I'll share my perspectives on that. Manufacturing, yes, indeed, is difficult in Nigeria. But I think the important thing to realize is that it's not impossible. This country is bankable. There's 150 million people, so underlying demand does exist. The question is sort of, you know, how do you ensure that you get it done right? So with the demand, you have to ensure you have the right product, you have the right service, and it's delivered properly. In this case, the promoters of this company had sort of the world's best technical partners, and they did a number of things just to ensure that the project was set up in the right way. So back to your question directly on infrastructure, right? The government has this new power reform project, and I'm really looking forward to it to assist manufacturers with distributing power around the country. But in the meantime, we can't really wait on that to happen. So we have gas generating plants on site. And it was located in Agbara for the specific reason that Shell gas pipes gas to Agbara. Running a factory on gas turbines is a lot cheaper than diesel, significantly cheaper. So that's the first thing we did to take care of power. However, we have diesel generators as backup to the gas powers, right? So that's what we've done there. So infrastructure, what else is involved? Roads. Agbara for us is located close enough to our customers. And with the Badagry Expressway project, the Lagos State is working on creating a major expressway down the Badagry Road. That makes it very easy for us to transport our product to our customers.
Okay, all right. So obviously, so location has been crucial for you, obviously.
Absolutely.
And okay, now let's talk a bit about, should I say, the outlook for manufacturers. Obviously, you just mentioned the president's very broad and articulate plan for power reforms, and there's also, we know that the central bank is intervening in another form of quantitative easing and supporting manufacturers in general and picking specific sectors. With all this happening now, in your view, how do you see manufacturing changing, the landscape for manufacturing in Nigeria changing in the, should I say, starting with the short to medium term and then of course the long term?
I see a lot of changes coming down the line. What we've needed is exactly what government is doing right now. We just need government support. Government just sort of has to participate in sort of the regulatory framework, right? By privatizing some of these entities, they make them a lot more efficient. With the government also supporting financial institutions, the cost of financing comes down. I think interest rates so far have been really a detriment to the manufacturing industry, but that will come down to government intervention. And these are a number of things that will really make manufacturing a lot more viable. Again, like I said earlier on, the demand side exists. And now we're working on the supply side and just making sure these companies can actually work. And then we also know that Nigerians are very creative and ingenious individuals and people, and we definitely do have the willpower and the talent to set up a lot of these companies and get them to become successful.
Okay, now let's talk about the opportunity in Nigeria, because obviously that's why a company like GZ Industries is coming on stream right now. Just talk in broad terms about how do you see the opportunity for manufacturing, because as the power reform progresses and I think more people get confident in that, we anticipate that more people will come and start setting up factories again. And we have some factories, for instance, in the textile industry that have pretty much shut down over the 80s and 90s because of infrastructure deficit. But just give us in broad terms the opportunities you see for manufacturers, and particularly maybe there's some specific sectors that you think manufacturers should begin to start looking at.
Okay. I think there are quite a few sectors people can look at. Even if you just follow a general theme of import substitution,
right,
which is what sort of we follow to find GZ Industries, it just makes sense. All you need to do is just go outside and look at the ports and see the number of ships that are waiting to actually land their goods in Nigeria and distribute them across the country. There's so many products that really should be manufactured here locally. Again, they just need the right technical partners, right local partners, and that can happen. But we see also government spurring different industries that we think are particularly interesting. Oil and gas, for instance, with the petroleum industry bill. That should create a lot of opportunities for local companies to begin to do more things locally. We know in other extractive industries as well, government is supporting a lot. Textiles, you mentioned, government is supporting a lot.
Now, you've just obviously you've mentioned the fact that government support is crucial to moving things forward. But what about new challenges? Because this is one challenge that I think a lot of manufacturers have faced in Nigeria: counterfeit goods coming in to compete with these manufacturers on our side, and of course the prices of imports, which make local manufactured goods uncompetitive. What about that side? I mean, how do you see that playing out, and how do you deal with that as a manufacturer in Nigeria?
I think on the counterfeit side, it's hard to avoid counterfeits. I mean, again, we have to rely on government to do some work there as well. But in general, I believe for products that are well served and well delivered, right, consumers will eventually know the difference, right? People begin to know the difference, and people always buy quality. So if you're delivering proper quality, I think we can get around some of those issues.